Hello students, welcome to chemistry online classes, Tungapiur College, Jamkhandi. Now see students, yesterday or in previous video one homework problem was given. Let us finish that problem and then we'll move for today's our topic for the video. See the things. For formation of water, enthalpy was given. Equation is written for formation of water. Next, for combustion of ethene and ethine. Combustion of ethene, carbon dioxide water form. Ethine also carbon dioxide and water is formed. Equation for ethine, oxygens 4 plus 1, 5. So here you should write 5 by 2. Otherwise all equations are very easy. Okay, already we have written all the equations for combustion and formation. Go through the equations. Okay, so and we have to find out for hydrogenation of ethine to give ethene. Okay, that equation write down, and for this equation we have to find out enthalpy. Okay, so let us what changes are required. Let us see. Ethine is there as it is. Okay, hydrogen it is also there. Ethene should be on product side, but ethene is on reactant side. So what should be done? Second equation only reverse. This is the only change required, students. In this problem particularly, no other change, no multiplication, nothing is required, because here all stoichiometric coefficients, balancing numbers is 1 only. So no multiplication is there. Only we want ethene on product side, which is there on reactant side. So reverse the second equation. And by reversing means its value was minus, I will change the sign, it will become plus. Do the things. Okay, equations write down once again. First equation as it is, third equation as it is, middle equation or second equation you should reverse and write. Common things cancel out. Now while cancelling out the common things, students, here see that water, one water is up, one is down, but total waters are 2 on the right side. 2 waters are there, that cancel for 2 waters on left side. Then oxygens, on left side half oxygen and 5 by 2 oxygen is there. If you will add half and 5 by 2, you will get 3. Half plus 5 by 2 is 3. 3 oxygens on left side, 3 oxygens on right side gets cancelled. So finally you are getting the same equation which we have written here, and this tallies your answer that you are 100% correct if your this equation and this equation matches exactly, and accordingly do the total of all three values, and final answer you should get minus 172.8 kilojoules per mole enthalpy change. Okay, many students has pinged me the answer, and many have got good answers, correct answers only. Okay, all the best students. Hess law very important. Make practice of like this various problems, and let us start with today's topic. Students, let us start with today's topic, spontaneity. Spontaneity. What is meaning of spontaneity? Spontaneity means having the potential, having the capacity to proceed, to go further, to proceed without assistance of external agency. Without help, without assistance means without help of external agency, going front or proceed, that is called as spontaneity. Okay, so based on spontaneity factor, the processes in thermodynamics are of two types: spontaneous processes and non-spontaneous processes. The processes are of two types: the spontaneous and non-spontaneous, based on spontaneity of the reaction. What is meaning of spontaneity? To proceed without assistance of external agency. without taking assistance, without taking help. That is called as spontaneity. So what do you mean by spontaneous process? Processes the processes that takes place by itself, that takes place by itself, without help of any external aid. The processes that takes place on itself, by itself, without help of, without taking any help of external aid means external agency. If aid word is difficult, you can use the word agency. Without help, without assistance of any external aid, the processes takes place that are called as spontaneous processes. Okay. Examples, which examples we can say for spontaneous processes? For example, flow of water down the hill. Falling of stone on the ground. Movement of heat from higher temperature to lower temperature. Students, you will be knowing that heat always moves from a source of higher temperature towards lower temperature. Okay. For example, otherwise take example, flow of water down the hill. On itself it takes place. Water always flows down the hill on itself. For that we should not use any motor. Okay. Falling of stone on the ground on itself. Movement of heat from higher to lower. Okay. Higher to lower, you can take so many examples. Nowadays winter season is going on. If morning we want to apply oil and oil will be freezed, okay, because of such a cold climate, oil will be freezed. So what we'll do, we'll put that bottle in the hot water. Heat moves from hot water towards cold. Okay, always heat moves from higher temperature towards lower temperature. All these processes takes place on itself without help of any external agency or aid. Such processes are called as spontaneous processes. Okay, meaning understood. Examples remember. What is non-spontaneous processes? Exactly opposite we can write for non-spontaneous processes. Okay. How can you define non-spontaneous processes? Of course, opposite of this, just write down that the processes that do not take place by themselves, on itself they don't take place, and they need the assistance, they need help of external agency or external aid. Such processes are called as non-spontaneous processes. Examples you can tell, so many examples are there. Exactly opposite you can say flow of water from lower level to higher level. Okay. If water has to, we have to pump water from lower level to higher level. That time we will apply motor or something. Yes. So their help is required. Such processes are called as non-spontaneous processes. Okay. So understand students, definitions remember, examples remember. Here students, then how the spontaneity of a chemical reaction is decided. Which reactions are spontaneous? Then initially the criteria for spontaneity of a chemical reaction was decrease in energy, decrease in enthalpy. If during a chemical reaction there is decrease in energy, okay, decrease in energy means what? Initial more energy was there, afterwards as reaction proceeds energy decreases. Why energy decreases? Okay, when energy decreases, that was decrease in energy was the criteria for spontaneity. This criteria was fulfilled of course by exothermic type of reactions, because you know that what is meaning of exothermic reactions? The reactions in which heat is given out. Okay, so initially more energy was there, but during the after the reaction heat is given out, so energy decreases, and whenever there is decrease in energy, that was the criteria for spontaneity, and all exothermic reactions were supposed to be spontaneous reactions. But afterwards it was found that some of the endothermic reactions, endothermic meaning the reactions in which heat is absorbed, okay, that were also found spontaneous. Okay, so the criteria for spontaneity of a chemical reaction was of course decrease in energy, but not in all cases. Okay, because some reactions which were endothermic, in which heat was absorbed, so there was increase in energy. After absorbing, there was increase in energy. Such reactions were also found, and that's why the criteria, though it was a decrease in energy, it was not fulfilled in all the cases. So next criteria was accepted that whenever any chemical reaction takes place or any change takes place in which there is increase in disorderness, increase in randomness, then that was the criteria for spontaneity. If a reaction phenomenon takes place and randomness, disorderness, randomness means the things are not clearly kept, not everything is very well ordered, it is anyhow random, disordered, then it is thought that then the reaction is spontaneous. Okay, because whenever any chemical reaction takes place, disorderness increases, new previous bonds break and new bonds are forming, such, so the criteria change to disorderness. Okay, so let us go towards next topic of thermodynamics, that rather next term of thermodynamics, that is entropy. What is entropy, students? Entropy means disorderness. Entropy rather is a measure of disorderness. How much disorderness is there? How much randomness is there? That is measured using entropy. Okay, so let us see entropy topic in detail. Entropy is indicated by symbol capital S. How much more disorderness is there, randomness is there, that much entropy will be more. So student, will you guess what is in case of solids, liquids and gases? Who is having more entropy? What I told, entropy means randomness, disorderness, nothing should be ordered, everything should be disordered, moving it should be, that is called as entropy. But we know that in case of solids, a very compact arrangement will be there, everything is very well ordered. So solids always show minimum entropy because everything is very well ordered, movement is not there. As compared to solids, when we move towards liquids, you can see that some movement is possible, and that's why entropy is more in liquids as compared to solids. Disorderness is more. But if we'll move towards gases, you can see that gases are randomly moving, and that too in all directions. So compared to liquid, in gases much more randomness, much more disorderness you can see. So always remember, student, how you move from solids to liquids and liquids to gases, entropy, disorderness, randomness goes on increasing. Let us write down all these things and let us start the next topic, that is entropy of the system. Students, let us see the topic entropy. As I told you already, entropy has symbol S. Very important topic. Every year question will be asked. So again put a start for this topic. Entropy, symbol is S. Questions will be very easy. What type of questions will be asked? After this topic we will solve the problems based on that. What is entropy? Randomness, disorderness. Okay, measure of randomness or disorderness is called as entropy. So entropy definition is, it is a measure of disorder or randomness. Disorderness or randomness in a system. Okay, that is entropy. Of course, disorderness increases with increasing randomness. How much more random is there, movement is there, that much more disorderness is there. So when gases are mixed, gases will mix, that when molecules diffuse into each other, randomness increases, so entropy also increases. Mixing of gases. When gases are steady, not possible. But when wind comes, everything mixes into each other. Disorderness increases, randomness increases. That is entropy increases. Entropy means everything should be disordered, random. How much it is disordered, that much more disorderness, more entropy. Okay, so entropy is a measure of disorderness. So if we will compare solid, liquids and gases, then you can see that solids, everything is very well ordered. Ordered arrangement of particles will be seen in the solids. That's why solids are having least entropy, because entropy is a measure of disorderness. So least is entropy can be seen in solids because the things are very well ordered. How you will move towards solids to liquids? Liquids can move, so entropy increases. Again from liquids to gases. Gases molecules are continuously moving. Completely disorderness is there. Okay, so we can say that maximum entropy is seen in case of gases. Okay, so how we move towards solids to liquid to gases? Entropy goes on increasing. Okay, and you know that on heating, solid gets converted to liquids and liquid gets converted to gases. So we can conclude, students, that heating and cooling. Due to heating, what happens? Heating increases entropy, cooling decreases entropy. Students, understand the topic. Topic is very easy. Nothing there in this topic. Okay. So you are understanding that solids to liquids to gases, entropy goes on increasing. Why? Because disorderness increases. On heating, disorderness increases. Cool the gases, they will become liquid. Cool the liquids, keep water in fridge, then it will become ice. So on cooling, entropy goes on decreasing. So below solids I have written least entropy, and below gases I have written maximum entropy. So the conclusion what we have done is heating always increases entropy and cooling always decreases entropy. Okay. Yes, friends. So I hope entropy topic understood. The topic very easy. Now let us move towards formula for entropy. But questions very easy will be asked. Every year questions will be asked. They will ask you questions like gases are mixed. What happens to entropy? You have to just tell entropy increasing or decreasing. Okay, ice is melting. What happens to entropy? Ice melting. Ice means solid. Melts to liquid. Solid getting converted to liquid. What is happening to entropy? Of course, entropy is increasing. Solid to liquid, entropy increases. Liquid to gas also entropy increases. Moving like this direction increases. Reverse direction decreases. For example, if they will ask, water is freezing. Water is freezing. Water, liquid. It freezes into ice. Liquid becomes ice, solid. So entropy of course decreases. Like this very easily you can say whether entropy is increasing or decreasing. Okay. Based on this concept only questions will be asked. Let us see the formula for entropy. For entropy change, we can write the formula Q in reversible process divided by temperature. Why? Let us understand. Delta S is change in entropy. S2 minus S1 or final entropy minus initial entropy. Okay. How it is directly proportional to heat? Very easily, just now you understood that more heating, entropy will be more, because heating increases randomness or disorderness. So here already we have written that heating increases entropy. Rather we can conclude that entropy is directly proportional to heat. More the heat, more movement, that is more disorderness, and that's why more the entropy. So entropy is directly proportional to heat, and students, for heat we are using symbol Q. So here it is written that entropy change is always directly proportional to Q. Q is heat absorbed by the system. But how is entropy inversely proportional to temperature? Okay, heat directly proportional. How is it inversely proportional to temperature? Now imagine that we are having two systems. Imagine that these are two systems. One system is at 20 degree temperature. Another system, imagine that it is at 50 degrees Celsius. Okay. So this is the system. This is also one system and this is also system. This is the system at lower temperature. This is the system at higher temperature. As you already know that less the temperature, randomness, disorderness will be less. Here disorderness will be more because temperature is at higher, system is at higher temperature. So more disorderness is already present. Now under such condition, if heat is provided. Okay, so what you know about now? Two systems are there. This is the system at less temperature, so it is having less entropy. It is the system at higher temperature, so it is having more entropy. Okay. Now already here disorderness is more because temperature is more, disorderness is more, entropy is more. Under such condition, when heat is supplied, when Q or heat means small q I should write, when heat is supplied, then entropy of the system having less temperature. This is the system having less temperature. This is the system having high temperature. Here already randomness is more. That's why on further supply, when we will supply further heat to both the systems, then entropy of this system increases more. Okay, change in entropy, delta S, is more here because this system was having less entropy because its temperature is less. So increase in entropy is seen much more in this system compared to system which is having high temperature, because already it is having more randomness. So after providing much more heat, randomness cannot increase to a certain limit. Here it is increased much more. Okay. So we can conclude that change in entropy delta S is more in this case, that is at less temperature. So delta S is inversely proportional to temperature. Okay. Less the temperature, more is entropy change. Okay. So conclusion is change in entropy is inversely proportional to temperature. So our formula is like this. I hope you understood the point correctly. So directly remember the formula. What is there now in the formula? Delta S is equal to Q, that is heat absorbed by the system during the reversible process, divided by temperature. Divided by temperature means change in entropy is always inversely proportional to temperature. How much system is at less temperature, that much more entropy change we can expect. Okay. After understanding this point, we'll write the unit for delta S, that is of course heated joule per temperature is Kelvin, per Kelvin. I can write that it is an extensive property. Okay students, I hope you remember what is meaning of extensive property at the starting of the videos. Hardly in first, second or third video I have told you what is extensive property. The property which depends upon amount of substance present in the system, that is called as extensive property. This property depends upon quantity, amount of substance present. For example, randomness depends upon how much substance is present. For example, imagine that I am having one small ice cube which is melting. You can say that yes, entropy is increasing because solid is getting converted into liquid. Ice is melting, solid is becoming liquid, so entropy is increasing. Correct. But if I will take instead of ice one very big cube of ice, okay, we are having very big cube, that is melting now. Then there you can see that such a big ice is melting, so again disorderness or entropy is more, because how much amount is less, entropy will be less. Amount increases, entropy also increases, randomness increases. Okay, so you can see more randomness. Imagine that a summer has started, Himalayan mountain is melting because of high temperature in summer. Complete Himalayan mountain glaciers, they have started melting. You know that melts. So entropy will be more there, disorderness will be much more there. So disorderness or entropy depends upon amount of substance, quantity of substance. So it is an extensive property, reason because it depends upon amount or quantity of substance present in the system. Again we can say about the formula of delta S, that this delta S whatever we have written, that is delta S total. It is always equal to delta S of system plus surrounding. I hope you know that universe is made up of system plus surrounding. So delta S total is equal to whatever is for system plus disorderness in surrounding. Okay. Again, for surrounding you can remember one formula, delta S of surrounding is equal to, you can say, delta H of surrounding divided by temperature, or you can say minus delta H of system divided by temperature. How can you say that? Students, see here. Delta S of surrounding formula I have written, because this formula you need when problems you have to solve. Okay. So while solving problems, you have to write delta S of surrounding is equal to delta H of surrounding divided by temperature. For system, sign will be negative. Why sign will be negative? Because for system gives heat. Exothermic reaction, delta H will be negative. Whatever heat is given out by the system, that heat will be absorbed by the surrounding. So for surrounding, delta H value should be positive. Understood? So formula, remember, delta S for surrounding is delta H for surrounding by H. Okay, why delta H? Delta H is enthalpy change. Enthalpy is nothing but total heat content, Q, of the system and surrounding. Okay, so formula is gone, remembering. Finally, we'll write one more thing. Okay, spontaneity, relationship of spontaneity and delta S. What is relationship of spontaneity and delta S? So students, we can say that delta S means what, students? S2 minus S1. If this value is positive, or we can say that this value can be negative. You only tell me for spontaneous processes, it will be positive or negative. Let us take one example and think. We are having both the options. Let us see. Ice is melting. We kept ice at room temperature. We are not even heating at room temperature kept. Room temperature will be up to 26, 30 something. Ice starts melting. Okay. Ice is melting. What happened to entropy? Solid gets converted to liquid. Entropy is increasing. So you can say that S1, S2. S2 is more than S1. Ice is melting. Example I am telling you for spontaneous process. On its own, ice melts and solid gets converted to liquid. Entropy increases. S2 will be more. So difference. S2 minus S1 will be positive. So you can say that for spontaneous processes, students, you should remember this. For spontaneous processes, delta S is always positive, and for non-spontaneous processes, it is always negative. Okay. So let us see, students, some of the questions based on entropy concept. Yes, students, let us see what type of questions are asked based on entropy. Generally, these type of questions are asked. Okay, any 4 will be given or 2 will be given, and they will ask you what is happening to entropy. Question is, predict in which of the following entropy increases or decreases. You have to write only answer whether entropy is increasing or decreasing. Let us see. A liquid crystallizes into a solid. A liquid becoming crystallizes into a solid. Liquid is getting converted to solid. What happens to entropy? Always we know that solid to gas increases, reverse is decreases. So answer you should write entropy decreases. Solid, so it decreases. Liquid to solid. Next. Temperature of a crystalline solid is raised from 0 Kelvin to 115 Kelvin. As we have seen that more the temperature, more will be the disorderness. As temperature is increasing, entropy also increases. I will show by arrow. You write down in words. entropy increases. Okay, next. Reaction will be given, students. See here, one reaction is given. Look towards reaction and understand what happens to entropy. Here, how to think, just see properly. Reaction, whatever reaction is given, you should observe physical states of reactants and products. You can see that here all reactants are solid. All reactants are solid. But products, one is solid, one is gas, another is also gas. So you should understand that all reactants were initially solid, but products formed are even gaseous. Means solid got converted to gas, and that's why entropy increases. Solid to gas, entropy increases. Okay, next. H2 gas gets converted to 2H gas. Then here, how to think, see. All variety of questions we will take. So solid, now here state is same only. Hydrogen was gas and 2H is also gas. Physical state has not changed. But where is the change you can see now? Here you can see that H2. H2 is a molecule. H is atom. Here you can see that one molecule is there. Here you can see that two atoms are there. Okay. And you know very well, students, that atoms are unstable. So movement is more. Okay. Like that we can think that molecule is broken down into atoms. And atoms are unstable, more disorderness. So you can say answer that entropy increases. Okay. Otherwise you can also think like this. 1 mole gets converted into 2 moles. As it increases, movement increases, so entropy increases. Next. Reactant, one was solid, another was gas, but now all products are gases only. How to think here, see, students. Some of the reactants were solid, but now all products are gases only. So solid also got converted to gas only. So entropy again increases. Solid also got converted to gas. That's why entropy increases. Next, magnesium is solid, oxygen is gas, but all products are solid only. MgO solid. What happened? One of the reactant was at least gas, but all products solid. Your conclusion is gas also got converted to solid. Okay. So gas to solid, so we can say that entropy decreases. Okay. Next. Ice is melting. Okay. Solid is getting converted to liquid, so entropy increases. When ice melts, entropy increases. Water is freezing, liquid is getting converted to solid. Water is freezing into ice, solid. So we can say that entropy is decreasing. Okay. So like this, friends, a variety of questions will be asked. Whichever reaction given, observe their physical states, and like this you can solve questions. Very easy type of questions these are, and these don't need any much reading before exam also. So such questions always attempt, and no chance that marks will be deducted. Okay, full marks you can get here. Let us solve one problem which is given in NCERT textbook based on entropy. What is given? See, for oxidation of iron, iron is undergoing oxidation. Oxidation of iron is taking place. So this is our system. Okay, iron undergoes oxidation. Fe2O3 is formed. Ferric oxide is formed. Entropy change is given. Entropy change means delta S is given. Delta S is minus 549.4 at 298 Kelvin. Delta S is given. What is question asked here, students? In spite of negative delta S, yes, we can see that delta S value is negative. Yes, in spite of negative delta S of this reaction, why is the reaction spontaneous? Why iron undergoes oxidation spontaneously on its own? just now we have seen the relationship between delta S and spontaneity, and we have seen that delta S must be positive for spontaneous reactions. But here you can see that delta S is negative and still the reaction is spontaneous. So question is asked that only, in spite of negative value of delta S, why is the reaction spontaneous? And to solve this problem, they have given you delta H value also. Now how this problem is solved, let us see. First thing you should understand that what is given. Given is delta S, but that is for system. Iron is undergoing oxidation, that is our system. So this is value what is given in negative. This value is delta S of system given. Okay, this is what is given. What you should know, student, for spontaneous process, delta S total is positive. Whether reaction is spontaneous or not, that is depends upon delta S, and that should be positive. But which delta S? Just now we have seen that delta S total is equal to delta S system plus surrounding. Delta S total should be positive. Then reaction becomes spontaneous. Here given is delta S of system only, that is negative. So let us find out, they are asking us why the reaction is spontaneous. So let us find out delta S total. Okay, how to find out? So formula is, see here, we should find out delta S total is equal to delta S of system plus delta S of surrounding. Okay, system plus surrounding. Then student, thing is we don't know delta S of surrounding. Given is only delta S of system. How much given? Minus 549.4. This value is given for system, but we don't know delta S of surrounding. So students, here A part, I will first find out delta S of surrounding. Understand this? Okay, why I am calculating? Because I want to check whether reaction is spontaneous or not. That is detected using delta S total. So I want delta S total is equal to system plus surrounding. System value is given, surrounding not given. Surrounding formula is what? Just now we have seen that formula. Minus delta H of surrounding divided by temperature. Okay, is equal to minus. Now delta H of surrounding value is given. What is that value? Minus, and temperature is also given 298. Okay students, now minus minus becomes plus. So I can write that see the things properly. So delta S of surrounding value, what I got student, I will do this calculation. Five 5530. I got value 5530. What unit I will write for this students here? Delta H was having what unit? Joule per mole, and divided by temperature is there. So unit I will write joule per Kelvin per mole. Okay, divided by temperature, so I wrote per Kelvin also. Now let us substitute this value plus 5530. What answer I will get students? See. $549.4, 4980. Students, you also do calculations on your own. 4980.6. Of course, unit is again joule per Kelvin per mole. This is what I got, delta S of total. As delta S total is positive, you can get positive answer here. A reaction is spontaneous. A reaction is spontaneous. Okay, like this you should conclude your answer. Write down all the things properly, students. Let us see next one last concept of Gibbs free energy. Students, let us see the topic Gibbs energy. Gibbs energy. Small topic is there. Gibbs energy is indicated by symbol capital G. It is also called as Gibbs free energy. Okay. What is Gibbs energy? It is defined as that part of the enthalpy of a system which can be converted into useful work. Okay. Now students, first understand that total enthalpy of a system will be there. Enthalpy means what? Total heat content of the system. Total enthalpy of the system has two parts. Some part is available for useful work. That part can be used for performing useful works. That part is free for useful work, and that's why for Gibbs energy another name given is Gibbs free energy, because this is that part of enthalpy one part of the enthalpy which can be converted into useful work. Enthalpy has two parts. Some part of it can be converted into useful work, that is called as Gibbs energy. So it is defined as that part of the enthalpy which can be converted into useful work. It is free to perform useful works. So it is Gibbs energy is also called as Gibbs free energy. Okay. Some part is free to convert it into useful works, but some part cannot be converted into useful work. Okay. So it is available, this part of enthalpy is available for performing useful works. Okay. Now students, formula let us write. I hope you understood the meaning of Gibbs energy. It is that part of the enthalpy which can be converted into useful work. Formula I will write, G is equal to H is total enthalpy minus Ts. G is equal to H minus Ts. What is this? So Gibbs energy is also expressed as, you can also express Gibbs energy based on this formula. I can write that Gibbs free energy is also expressed as, how we can express Gibbs energy? It is the difference, negative sign means difference. It is the difference between total enthalpy of the system, whatever is total enthalpy of the system, and this is the part which is unavailable for performing useful work. Okay. I told that whatever is total enthalpy of the system, some part is available for performing useful work while some part is not available. The part which is available for performing useful work, that is called as Gibbs energy, that is free to perform work. Which is not available, that is called as Ts. Okay. So I will write G, Gibbs free energy is also expressed as difference between H. H is what? Total enthalpy of the system difference between total enthalpy of the system and product of, whose product? Absolute temperature and entropy. Okay student, it is expressed as difference between total enthalpy of the system and product of absolute temperature and entropy. Okay, so here in this, what is TS? So you should know that TS is that part of the enthalpy which cannot be converted into useful work. This part cannot be converted into useful work. Why? Or it is unavailable energy. Gibbs energy is available for performing useful works, and we can say that TS is not available, it is unavailable energy, or it is the enthalpy part which cannot be converted into useful work. So you understood that total enthalpy of the system is H, total enthalpy of the system. Some part can be used for performing useful work, that is called as Gibbs energy, which cannot be used, that is called as TS, product of absolute temperature and entropy. Okay, so you understood everything about Gibbs energy, formula, its definition. Now strength, remember that it is also an extensive property. Extensive property means it depends upon amount of or quantity of substance present in the system. How much quantity is there, based on that Gibbs energy changes. So it depends upon quantity, so it is called as extensive property. Students, based on this formula we can write the difference delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S. This is the formula for difference in Gibbs energy, and this is called as Gibbs Helmholtz equation. One mark question may be asked. Write Gibbs Helmholtz equation. Okay. Things are very easy here. Understood what is Gibbs energy? Now we have to just relate Gibbs energy with spontaneity. We have seen that delta H should be positive for spontaneous processes. Now what should be Gibbs free energy change for spontaneity? So let us relate delta G with spontaneity. Okay. How to relate? We'll go towards delta G by knowing, by already the things what we are knowing. See students, what I have written. Already I told you in previous few minutes before only that total entropy, S is entropy, is always delta S of system plus surrounding. Total is system plus surrounding. Now for surrounding we have seen two formulas. Delta S of surrounding is equal to delta H of surrounding by T or minus delta H of system by T. Okay, so instead of delta S of surrounding I substituted another formula for delta S of surrounding minus delta H of system by temperature. Okay, so delta S I have substituted the formula. Now this complete equation we will multiply by T because we don't want this T. So rearranging the terms, what we got, multiply by T, so comes here T, here also T, and this T gets cancelled and we get this. Now we got this equation, students. See the equation properly, then you will understand that the equation left hand term is T delta S. Okay, T delta S term. Now here already you know that delta S is always positive for spontaneous processes. Just now we have seen. For spontaneous processes, this delta S total should be positive. We solved a problem also based on this. So delta S total should be positive. So that delta S total multiplied by temperature, that will surely be positive only. So we can conclude that for spontaneous process, delta S should be positive, that is greater than 0. Positive means greater than 0. So this complete term becomes positive. As this complete term is positive, this term is also positive, right hand side. So right hand side I have written here T delta S system minus delta H of system, that should be positive. Positive means greater than 0. Okay, from this I will remove negative sign. So what I can write? How I can write this equation? By taking negative sign outside. Delta H of system, it is minus, minus sign is opposite, and for this I should give negative sign because minus, then it becomes plus. Okay, that should be positive. And what is this, student? Delta H minus T delta S here. Delta H minus T delta S is nothing but delta G. So instead of this I am writing delta G. So you came to know whatever things we were knowing, from that we derived the thing that for spontaneous process, see student, what we derived? We derived that for spontaneous process, delta G must be negative. Okay. So finally, how we can relate spontaneity and delta G? What I am writing, see students correctly. Delta G negative. Three conditions I will write. Delta G is negative for spontaneous. Delta G positive for non-spontaneous. And delta G is 0, of course, at equilibrium. Equilibrium is our next lesson. Okay. So things understand students properly. Okay, questions important. What is Gibbs energy? Write Gibbs Helmholtz equation. Okay, understand the terms TS and all. Okay, this derivation I have written, but not so important. Finally, what is important is this. Now student, let us conclude like we have seen that spontaneity depends upon delta S. Here I wrote also. Delta S positive means spontaneous reaction. But delta S alone cannot predict the spontaneity of the process. Only delta S cannot predict spontaneity of that process. That's why delta G is preferred, because what is delta G's equation, students? See here, delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S. In the equation of delta G itself, you can see delta S also. Okay, so rather than using delta S term for spontaneity prediction, alone delta G is nowadays used for prediction of spontaneity. Understood? Because its equation already includes delta S. Okay. So what is my conclusion? See students, what I am concluding. Delta G alone predicts spontaneity. Okay. So now onwards, delta G should be used for prediction of spontaneity. Delta G negative is spontaneous. Students, let us see first law of thermodynamics is over. Let us conclude by seeing second and third law of thermodynamics. So students, see here second and third law of thermodynamics. Both are related to entropy, today's topic. So let us finish these two laws. The law states that the net entropy, second law I am telling, second law related to entropy, it tells that the net entropy of the universe is continuously increasing. Of course, yes. We have seen that so many processes takes place in the nature which increases the randomness or disorderness. So total net entropy of the universe is continuously increasing. Of course, so many reactions or so many phenomenon takes place that entropy decreases also. But finally, there are so many processes that entropy goes on increasing. Okay, so the processes in which entropy increases are much more than in which entropy decreases. For example, if we'll generally take an example of Himalaya mountain, such a big mountain is every year melting in summer, so entropy is increasing. Of course, we will say that in winter it will again freeze also into ice, so entropy is decreasing also. But comparatively, so many processes are there. For example, storms are there, winds are there, all are increasing entropy, because whenever wind storm comes, that time air gets completely, diffusion will be more, so entropy increases, randomness increases. So finally, though there are both type of processes, the net entropy of the universe is continuously going on increasing. This is second law of thermodynamics. And what is third law of thermodynamics, students? At absolute zero temperature, when the temperature is absolute zero, the entropy of perfectly crystalline substance is zero. Of course, when temperature is less, entropy decreases. Temperature has become how much? Absolute zero temperature, very less temperature. At such a less temperature, entropy of a substance will be zero, because that substance will freeze, and you know that in solid state minimum entropy is there. Okay, so at absolute zero temperature, entropy, that is disorderness of perfectly crystalline substance will freeze and it will become perfectly crystalline, and its entropy will become zero. Okay, so remember these two zeros in our third law of thermodynamics. Okay, so write down these laws. See you, student. I declare that thermodynamics lesson is over, and see you soon in the next lesson.